tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja. Kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
Hello there and welcome to Farm Kenya show right here on KTN Home and also KTN Farmers TV. This is where we delve deeper into agriculture, look at ways in which we can improve agriculture. My name is Kelvin Yakundi, joined by my very inspiring co-host, Marion Munyao.
Thank you so much, Kelvin, for having me kama kawaida, and thank you to you for making this a date. And definitely, we are going to be having so much fun today because we will be talking about rabbit farming. But for now, here is Agri News.
Now, this is Agri News. Residents of Mugamba Siura area in Mwea East, Kirinyaga County have raised concerns over a high number of monkeys destroying food crops in the villages. Now, led by Mary Nyaga, the residents say that the monkey population in the village has increased, overrunning their homes in a search of food. Now, they are now worried that they might need to seek relief food from the government due to the destruction of their crops.
Kile kinatusubua sana ni hii manke. Na manke hii imetusubua kwa muda wa miaka zaidi ya miaka miwili. Na tangu sikuje hapa simetukulia chakula. Tunapanda inakula. Kwa hivyo sisi tuko na shida sana ya hii manke kwa sababu hasara ile imetuletea hasara kubwa sana. Kwa sababu tunapanda, mvua inanyesha na inakuja inakula. Hata nyinyi mmejionea vile imefanya. Hakuna kitu tutakula msimu huu.
Nalima mahindi, marage, na hiyo chakula nalima sipati chochote juu tubiri zinakula yote. Na tuseme si mimi peke yangu, ni hapa kwetu juu kila mtu anashinda hiyo ya tubiri.
Now, 6 leading African enterprises have benefited from a catalytic financial support on food security. The $15,000 fund is from the IREX PepsiCo Foundation and the Pamoja Founders Project towards pushing food security. Now, the announcement of the 6 comes after a competition held in Nairobi, Kenya, post a 4-day boot camp. Now, the winning enterprises, led by passionate young innovators, addresses critical food security challenges in their respective countries.
In the business of Africa, we are a partner for that development. We support the skill, the expertise, the experience, the talent that Africa has. And we also bring the international learning that is required to drive the development of Africa. And in this Pamoja spirit, we believe that there is space for the best of every human.
The bet that IREX and PepsiCo Foundation are making with this program is that with some specific targeted leadership development support and business strengthening support and some catalytic funding, we can help young entrepreneurs in the agriculture, food security, and waste management space to escape the valley of death.
1 out of 4 people in the next few years in the world will be living in Africa by 2050. A quarter of the world's population. This is the youngest continent. Our median age is 19. In fact, in some countries like Uganda, the median age is 17. So if you want to invest in your business, if you want to get true value for your investment, this is the place to be.
Now, farmers in Kajiado County are in panic mode following the emergence of apamoya, a dangerous weed that is threatening both the vegetation and livestock. The farmers now want the government to eradicate the weed that has invaded large grazing fields. Innocent Ogaro reports.
Residents of Kajiado County are now complaining about aipomea, a dangerous weed which has been threatening livestock farming for a while now. Many are seen to be affected by this weed, which siphons water from the ground, thus contributing to plant destruction.
Au mmea ni hatari kwa nyuki. Nyuki anapozama pale, anakuwa anapata hiyo mmea ni sumu kwake. Pia huo mmea unaangamiza majani, manyasi yote ingine ile na mea kwa ajili ya mifugo. Kwa hivyo unapata ile sehemu inasheheni hiyo mmea peke yake na mifugo pia inaumia. Kwa hivyo ni kama kiangazi inaendelea.
According to Judy Nkalinoi, the weed is a threat due to its rapid spread and invasion of livestock vegetation.
Unakuta mifugo yale yamebaki kama ng'ombe, yakiingia tu ndani inakosekana, unatafuta kwa muda mrefu. Mbuzi pia iko hivyo. Na saa hii kwa sababu ya kupata maji, hiyo urbene hiyo imekuwa, saa hii ndio imenawiri sana, iko na maua ambayo inatamanika kabisa. Wewe ukiona pale unasema ni maua nzuri, lakini kwa chakula ya ng'ombe ni mbaya sana.
Kajiado Governor Joseph Olelenku says the weed is a threat to beekeepers and livestock farmers.
Kama kaunti ambayo inategemea ufugaji, tunajua ukitaka kufuga ng'ombe ama mifugo zako lazima ukuwe na chakula chao. Chochote kile inataharisha chakula ya mifugo yetu ni hatari kwetu. Na ndio leo nimedeclare Ipomea planned a county disaster.
According to him, Ipomea is a serious threat to food security and household economic empowerment, calling for immediate eradication.
First point of call is for us to do what we can do as individuals. Then as government, we will sensitize the people.
Innocent Ogaro, KTN News.
And now to Laikipia County, where it is a new dawn for women in the county after they started embracing dairy goat farming. Now, in a county whose majority are pastoralists, women solely relied on their husbands to provide for them and their families. However, this is now fast changing. Now, from dairy goat farming, the women say they are earning a living, as Clement Masombo reports.
Women from Laikipia County, previously considered homemakers, are slowly shifting to dairy goat farming. Meet Julia Mudhoni, a member of the Daiga Kuinyecha women group and one of the many women whose lives have been transformed by the dairy goat farming.
Niko na watoto 7 kwa hii boma yangu. Na sikuwa na kazi nafanya. Kazi yangu ni ya ukulima. Nilikuwa naomba Mungu anipatie angalau kabusu kamoja niendelee nikamulie hawa watoto wangu niweze kuwalea.
Julia's journey started with just one dairy goat. She now has 11.
Nikaonelea ninunue kabusu kamoja. Kwa kununua hiyo kabusu kamoja nikanunua kakiwa kadogo shilingi 5,000. Nikakalea, nikaendelea, kakapandwa, kakapata dume.
Julia's story is echoed by many other women in Laikipia. The introduction of dairy goats, which are more manageable and requires less compared to cows, has made livestock farming accessible to women.
Nikiamka asubuhi, naamka na watoa nje. Kwanza nawekelea maji na kuja kuwakamua. Niwapagusa na wakamua. Nikachukua hiyo maziwa. Nikawekea customer zangu, nikaweka hiyo ingine.
Na kwa sasa tunajifunia kwa maana kama this year tulikuwa tumeomba pesa na tukapewa na mama county 50,000. Na kila mmoja wetu amenunua kuku zake hata kama ni 2 ama 3. Kwa hivyo tunajifunia mambo makuu.
The women are also receiving training support from organizations such as Food and Agriculture Organization.
Tumefundishwa hata mambo ya kulisha hizi buzi zetu vizuri. Tumesomeshwa mambo ya kuweka kuweka silage. Tumefundishwa hayo maneno na pia hata machumvi. Hatukuwa tunajua ati buzi inafaa kukula chumvi hata every day.
The Women Economic Empowerment Project through Clement Smart Agriculture that has been funded by Korea government through KOICA. And basically, this project endears to empower women, not only just in production, increasing production and incomes, but also to enable them to have a voice.
Clement Masombo, KTN News, Laikipia County.
Kirinyaga farmers have switched gears to a unique smallholder irrigation farming system after years of poor harvests following unpredictable rainfall. The smallholder irrigation projects, according to Permanent Secretary, State Department for Irrigation, Ephantus Kimotho, is targeted on increasing the national acreage under irrigation in a bid to address food insecurity in the country. Now, the PS noted that the government has already spent 245 million shillings in implementing the program for 2,000 farmers across Kirinyaga County.
Kenyan government and with Kenya on various topics. One is climate, and water is heavily connected with climate and climate change. So that might be a portfolio where we can together identify more necessary things. We are working on sustainable economies, and I think all those topics are important if it's coming to agriculture.
Smallholder is a program whereby we assist the communities through irrigation projects. And as you all know, rainfed agriculture is no longer sustainable nowadays. And that's why we have moved to, we are focusing now more on irrigation towards addressing the issue of food security. This particular project is a bit unique in that there is a cooperation whereby there is a cooperation between three parties. The farmers normally contribute 10%, then as a security, then they are given a loan by the bank or to the tune of 50%. The other 50% is contributed by the government, which is actually given as a loan by the German government. And also after that, the county is able to help the farmers in agricultural extension services in that. So this project is a project whereby we have seen is a project which has catalyzed private capital into irrigation projects. That thereby de-risking such projects, which before they have always been perceived as projects which are not viable.
Now, in West Pokot County, a profound shift is underway, led by the transformative power of climate-smart agriculture orchestrated by the Food and Agriculture Organization for the United Nations. Now, nestled in the wards of Batei, Sioi and Riwo, these projects are not only tackling climate change, but also reshaping gender dynamics, empowering women and catalyzing economic growth in the region. Now, at the epicenter of this revolution are the women of West Pokot, long the unusing heroes of agriculture, but historically sidelined from decision-making and resource allocation.
Walikuja wakaweza kutuempower kama kina mama ambao tulikuwa tunakaa tu, wakatufunza mengi. Mimi walinipata kama mkulima wa kawaida. Mimi nilikuwa nachunga tu wale mbuzi wa kawaida. Okay, wakaanza kunifunza hiyo breeding, hii mbuzi mzuri ya pesa mzuri, mbuzi na kondoo. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa ni kazi yangu pale kijijini.
Tulipata mafunzo kwa hii project, nikapata kuchagua ukulima wa vifaranga. So naitisha vifaranga kutoka Usima Chicken, vifaranga kama 1000, na hiyo ni ya siku moja, na nafuga for 1 month na nauza kwa kila kifaranga 300.
Mambo yamebadilika katika mafamilia nyingi. Wakulima wa mama wana uwezo wa kuongea vile wanaweza kutumia pesa yao kati yao na mabwana zao, na watoto wanaenda shule, na ile kazi iliyokuwa kwamba wa mama hawawezi kuongea, tumeona kupitia kwa huu mradi wana uwezo wa kujieleza na wameinfluence hata policies katika government ya West Pokot.
Now, officers from the Community Environmental Conservation Society in Kiunga area have succeeded in rescuing a turtle that was trapped in fishing net ropes on Mongo Sharif Island in Lamu. Now, Anne Musungu with the details.
Kiunga Reef is a vital area for marine life, particularly for breeding purposes, with 14 areas identified as critical habitats. Conservation officers report rescuing 2 turtles every month from the reef, with this number rising, especially during the nesting season for these animals. The reef serves as an important breeding ground and its protection.
Tumempata akiwa amekuwa entangled na amekuwa tagged na jarife ghost fishing net. Tumempata baharini. Na katika nesting zake huku kwetu ziko, lakini ni rare sana. Ziko nesting sites zinakuja kunest. But ukilinganisha na green turtle wanakuwa wengi. Na ni kwa sababu ni hivyo tuko wao ni wanyama wadogo, ni wanyama dhaifu. Mara nyingi sana kukiwa kumejengwa ama kuna development zaidi ama kuna mahali kuna milima ama kuna logs ama kuna plastic, huwa ni vile hana nguvu, anashindwa kuja kutaga.
Despite Kiunga Reef's importance, some marine creatures face threats to their survival. Turtles and other animals risk entanglement and death from becoming trapped in fish nets, particularly those with small openings. An even more severe danger arises from illegal hunting activities targeting turtles from their shells, which are prized for making ornament and other products.
Sana sana huwa anashikwa na nets za wavuvi wa lobster. Wale wameweka set nets, wameweka kwa sehemu. Sasa na zile set nets kawaida yake zinalala chini ya maji na yeye anatembea chini ya maji. Kwa hivyo mara nyingi yeye anakuwa anapatikana kwa bycatch.
These animals rely on specific types of fish as their food source. However, the prevalence of plastic waste floating in the sea poses a risk, as the animals may mistake the plastic for fish and ingest it unintentionally. Ingesting plastic can cause serious health issues and potentially lead to starvation or death for the marine species that are an integral part for the reef's ecosystem.
Kwa hivyo hata hii mambo ya plastics na mambo ya logs, zile vitu zimeletwa drifted na maji kuletwa kwa offshore, zinamcost pia, inakuwa ni shida kwake.
And Musungu, KTN News, Nairobi.
Shareholders in Taita Taveta County have expressed their commitment to achieving the 15 billion shilling tree challenge in the country. Now they aim to raise the country's tree cover from 8% and its forest cover from 3%, both of which are currently very low. Now to support the effort, they plan to plant over 2,500 trees in Taita Hills Sanctuary. Hezron Kimari reports from Watate.
Well, when you talk about conservation and environmental matters in Taita Taveta County, the 8% tree cover and 3% forest cover in Taita Taveta County, together with the 15 billion tree challenge across the country, these are some of the factors that they are pushing stakeholders, government and also individuals to see how maybe they can achieve. And now we'll be getting some opportunity to hear sentiments of conservation stakeholders here in Taita Taveta County who participated in the World Environmental Day here in Taita Taveta.
So every guest that comes to Taita Hills and Salt Lake, or even who visits the sanctuary, we encourage them to plant a tree. And every time a guest plants a tree, they are given, we have a platform where they are given an update of how the tree is progressing. So it estimates the amount of carbon that it's able to offset from the environment, the number of days that the tree has survived, and we ensure that we do a follow-up on every tree that is planted. So by doing so, we are aiming at creating more positive impact to the environment and to the world at large.
Tuendelee kushikana mikono ili tuweze kuhakikisha kwamba haya mazingira yetu tunatengeneza, na pia kuhusu ile global targets za kuweza kupunguza nyuzi za miale na ama temperatures ikue ama iendelee kubakia chini ya 1.5 degrees Celsius, tuweze kuhakikisha kwamba tumeafikisha hayo. Kwa sasa ile target tunataka kuweka ni kupanda miti 1,000,000, na tunataka kuangalia vile tutashirikiana na Absa Bank ili kuweza kuafikisha haya.
Our involvement requires that we bring partners together, like what we did today, so that we are able to jointly plant trees, so that we contribute to the required target of 15 billion trees grown by the year 2032. We will continue partnering with other stakeholders in the environmental space to ensure that the trees that are planted are well nurtured to maturity.
Upande wa county kwa mwaka huu kupitia climate change tumeweza kuwekeza zaidi ya takriban milioni 20 ili kupanda na kukuza miti 20,000 kwa kaunti hii. Na sio kupanda tu, tunaweka mikakati ya kupanda na kutafuta watu wa hapo kijijini au CBO ili waweze kutunza hiyo miti. Kwa hivyo leo ni kuhimiza wananchi wa Taita Taveta, mama, baba, mtoto, kila mtu ajaribu kupanda na kukuza miti 100 kwa mwaka. Na mti ni mti, hata mti wa matunda ni mti. Kwa hivyo mti wote ambao utapanda, hata mti wa matunda ambao utakusaidia kwa hela na kwa kukuendeleza kimaisha, pia ni mti.
Mkonge ndio
crop ambayo peke yake inaweza kustahimili drought. Mwaka huu wa 2019 mpaka 2023 tumekuwa na drought kubwa sana. Wakati huo wote hakuna crop ambayo ilikuwa inaweza kufaulu. Lakini wale ambao walikuwa na makonge waliweza kukata na wakauza na wakapata pesa. Kwa hivyo tuko na association ambayo tunaita Sisal Outgrowers Association. Tunaambia watu wajiunge na hii Sisal Outgrowers Association ili tuweze kuwa more resilient to drought kulingana na maudhui ya siku hii ya leo.
Well, with these efforts, the conservation stakeholders still have a major task ahead to ensure all the trees which have been planted, they will be grow to achieve the said target. Reporting for KTN News from Mwatate, I'm Hezron Kimari.
That is all we had for you on our Agri News today. And now to Sauti ya Mkulima.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. And may you please kindly introduce yourself and tell us what you do here.
Okay. My name is Maina Mwangi. I am the technical operator and still the social marketing manager. Yes, that's my role.
So how do you do your social marketing? How do you do your marketing of these products? How do you use social media? Tell us more.
My role at social media is actually to reach out to the multitudes of people who haven't heard about our product, and about this, the advertisements have to be made through platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Yeah.
Okay, so you are trained to market through social media.
Yes, we are trained to market through social media.
So in other words, people need, those who do marketing need to be trained. Able to tell us more about that, why they need that training?
The training about social media is all about discipline. And with this discipline and a little motivation, you have to get to, it needs to push you through all these boundaries in order you can get these customers, and shouldn't even give up even when you get like 10 customers in a day, and even since you need to have a target to get like 100 or so to know your product within a certain period of time. Yes.
Kuna watu wana market to randomly. What is the difference between somebody who is trained to market through social media and the one who is not trained?
Right now, as we all know, this age, everything is digital. So if we get more people, since more people are usually in the digital platforms, that's where now all your customers are. When you start now, like, and it's not really all about digital even. You can even start about getting up little posters, even mouth to mouth, and even words from our loyal customers who've experienced the quality of our products, and even go tell their friends, and they come and buy from us.
So you said you are also a farm at home. Tell us about your farming. How do you farm when you are here? How do you farm when you are here?
Oh, actually, I farm easy. I'm a smart farmer. I have my buckets, my easy buckets, and my gunias that I usually plant my mboga and a little potatoes and nyanya, so that I can sustain myself maybe when there's a shortage in the market. And I love farming. Generally, I love farming.
Thank you very much for your time.
That's all we had for you today on Sauti ya Mkulima and Agri News. But for now, we are going on a short commercial break. But let's keep the conversation going on our social media handles. We will be right back.
Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja. Kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Kenya. Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa mkulima, kuwa mshindi. Kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja. Kuimarisha Kulisha Kenya ni jukumu la Kenya.
And now we are going to look at the youth and what they are doing in agriculture.
Hello and welcome to Youth in Agriculture. My name is Marion Munyao Nganga. Now, last week tulikuwa tunaongelelea Promise. Promise ni pig, Manake Sylvester Mwenda ambaye ni mkulima hapa kwa shamba ya nguruwe hapa Ruai, alitueleza vizuri what it takes to have a proper housing for pigs like Promise and also for her piglets. But for today, out to a Promise na kwambia ni wanono, wamekula na mama yake je. Hey! We want to know siri ni gani. Sylvester Mwenda, asante sana. Now, last week we talked about housing, lakini sitaki hata turudi hapo. Now let's talk about the feeds. What is the secret? Unawalisha nini?
Nguruwe tu ni kama binadamu. So it requires 5 types of feed. That is, hiyo chakula inafaa kuwa na carbohydrates, inafaa kuwa na proteins, inafaa kuwa na minerals, na inafaa kuwa na vitamins, and then water. So the food that, or rather the feed that we give them, we get the one by one supplements. As in vitamins kando, proteins kando, minerals kando, then we mix it together. So the proteins, maybe we prefer animal proteins, and maybe kama zipatikani you can as well use the plant proteins. Na kwa mfano kama Promise sahi she's lactating, ananyonyesha sahi, so ana require a lot of proteins ndio aweze kuproduce maziwa.
Exactly.
So the proteins kwa chakula yake iko high, inafaa kuwa high and quality one.
You know, Sylvester, one thing that pig farmers, ama watu wenye wanataka kuwa pig farmers, wanaogopa ni chakula. Manake, nguruwe hukula. Hey, tell me about what is the kind of, ama the type of feed yenye wewe mwenyewe unawalisha. Is it the one that is manufactured, ama pia wanaweza kula yale mboga ambayo tumeiona kwa shamba?
There's 2 types that a farmer can prefer. Unaweza buy yenye iko the manufactured one, ama unaweza tengeneza yako. But here we get yenye already imetengenezwa. Then we get though it's very costly, ni expensive. Na as we know, nguruwe kula, so we limit the food. Nguruwe kula, lakini per day inafaa ku consume 3 kg per day.
What?
Not more than that. 3 kgs. That's when you divide it by 2. 1.5 in the morning, 1.5 in the evening. Na hiyo ni yenye it's not still lactating, so hainyonyeshi. That's a dry one. Yenye maybe the growing ones, ama the finishing one, depending on the kgs the nguruwe yenye kunayo. So kgs zikipanda ndio kiwango ya chakula pia inapanda. So nguruwe yote hata ikiwa na 100 kgs inafaa kukula 3 kgs per day. Though we know the feed is very expensive, but that's how we do it. We make sure we limit. We give it in proportion.
Speaking of plant proteins, there's this new plant, new trend. Unajua napendanga kupeleka watu na trend. Tell me about Azolla. Have you ever heard of Azolla, and have you ever, substitute it with the manufactured proteins?
Azolla, the name is very new. I have not heard of it. We've not even tried to use it. In fact, it's a new name. Yes.
Okay, so nitakutuma pale mtandao kwenye KTN Home YouTube uangalie ile episode ambayo tumefanya ya Azolla. Sawa? Playlist ni Farm Kenya. You'll find everything there. But I spoke to various farmers and they mentioned that for real, Azolla is good for animals like pigs. Ina cut down the protein, the cost of protein feeds by 50%. So sijui hapo kama ni unaona venye umeshtuka. Sijui kama hiyo ni siri nimekuibia, lakini
Azolla maybe to know more. Azolla, is it a concentrate?
No. Azolla is a plant that
It's a
grows.
plant.
Yes, it grows in water ponds, you know. Yes, and then inajizalisha hivyo.
So you pick it from where it is.
Exactly. Lakini manake mimi si mtaalamu, although mimi ni mwanafunzi na mkulima wa TV.
Yes.
Singependa kuongea kama mtaalamu, you know, but I want you to go and see what that farmer taught us that day on Azolla farming. Now, moving forward, talk about the feeds of the piglets. Hawa watoto wadogo wa Promise wanakula nini na haswa kiwango gani?
Hawa watoto wa Promise bado ni wadogo.
Kaya wakuli?
1. They are 7 weeks. Not 7 weeks. 1 week old. That's 7 days. What we are doing now, we are introducing them to food by just giving them a small quantity, a small quantity. Then we place it there, so they may not eat or feed the whole of it that very day, but at least they will try to feed on it. We are introducing them, but as they grow, that's when now. Maybe at that very time, it's when maybe I can. When they are already weaned, they have no specific time to feed. As long as if the in their feed trap, the food is over, unaongeza. Hawananga kiwango fulani ya chakula. So hao wanakulanga tu throughout the day.
Wanakula all through, eh?
All through.
I remember last week you had mentioned that you put their feed separate na from mama yao. Manake mama yao asije akawamalizia chakula, si ndio?
Yes.
Lakini hapa sio ni maji.
Maji?
Wanakunywa maji?
Yes. But for the piglet, hawajaanza kukunywa maji. Bado wanakunywa maziwa. They are more. Sasa food ni kidogo. Number 1 ya hiyo food yenye tunawaintroducia nayo sahihi. Inafaa kuwa highly digestible. Almost ikuwe soft kabisa. Such that wakiongeza na maziwa, it's done. Juu hawajaanza kukunywa maji. But for their mothers out there, you will see the drinkers. So they drink themselves. They just go there and they press the drinker, and then the water is out.
Mbona hiyo drinker ingeletwa hapa? Juu hapa ndipo mneka chakula. Mbona isiwekwe tu mahali karibu?
Kwa chakula. Okay, hatuwezi iweka hapa kwa room. For one, unajua kuna ile overflow ama kuna ile maji yenye ina drop. Na inafaa i-drain immediately. That's why unaona mahali drinker iko kuna drainage. In case of any spillage ya maji inaenda. That's why they are outside and together with the dagging side. Ama mahali inaeka ina fees. They are outside the room. Yes.
Okay, interesting. Now, let's talk about ugonjwa ambao hata si wanadamu tunakumbana nayo, constipation. Do they ever experience that? Because harufu ya pesa ni mob.
Constipation, it will only occur when, like, the mothers who are almost to give birth. No, wakiwa karibu ku give birth, you minimize the amount of feed. Ndio uzuie ile constipation in times
Sylvester, hapa nimeona watoto wa Promise na pia Promise kuna vile unataka tu kulamba viatu zetu. I don't know for what apparent reason. Je, wanataka kulamba viatu zetu. Kwani kuna mineral ambao wanatafuta kwenye viatu ama wanasikia tu ni tamu?
No, kuna ile like ile, what do you call it?
Salt.
Ile chumvi. Ama hiyo taste ya chumvi. Unajua like kila kitu inaonjanga tu kuna kachumvi. Hata kukula ukuta ni hiyo kachumvi. But sasa unaona hawa hatuwezi tunawekea lakini ile kidogo. So like ukikanyanga hapa si unajua ile kiatu itakuwa na ile softness.
Yes.
So ndio na unajua inatakanga kula anything. So ina feel like even this one I can feel.
Perfect opportunity. Nguruwe ambaye hakuli, what could be the problem?
Maybe anaweza kuwa ni mgonjwa. Unajua kuna anaweza kuwa ni mgonjwa, anaweza kuwa anataka dume juu hizo zote zinaoka. Kwa hizo kwa mfano nguruwe mbili. One year ni mgonjwa, mwingine hapa mtoto kama akuli definitely ni mgonjwa. So we get the vet anakuja na assess.
Talk about the other challenges that pig farmers, you included, face.
Apart from ile maybe maugonjwa, that's like almost every farmer an experience. Juu kuna magonjwa mengine when they come in, they sweep like everything. So unaachwa bila chochote. So that's one of the challenge. Na hiyo challenge tunaizuia aje? Through hiyo ku disinfect hiyo maji unaona hapo kwa footpath. Na pia ku minimize the visitors. So many times we don't allow many visitors to keep coming. So unaweza pata if we have to invite one ajakuja kutoka kwa another farm. So we minimize the number of visitors to camp that. Aya, ile ingine maybe ni kuna maybe price ya food ikiwa juu. Unaona sasa ukiwa na nguruwe wengi it's hard. Maybe to mention a few. Yes.
Sai umemention price ya food. By the way, how much is it right now?
The food that we use now nowadays Angunia goes for around 2,500.
Oh,
70 kg. But when you get the supplement, that's buying one. Unapata they are more expensive. Kilo ya 70 is almost 5,000. Yes.
Okay, na mna manage bado. Leading to my next question. Soko iko aje?
Soko sio mbaya.
Hey, aburudia. Hey.
Once the nguruwe may pair the good quality ya chakula, the profit ama ile kurudisha the return. Nguruwe inarudishanga haraka. Challenge ni wakati maybe haijapata chakula ya kutosha. Inaweza kupeleka hasara. But the market is good.
Hiyo kenye unasema kurudisha, inarudisha nini? What are the byproducts ya nguruwe?
Byproduct, ni nyama number one.
Pork, napenda. Pork wase, Kuna pork, nini ingine?
Ingine ni manure.
Manure?
Yes, hakuna ingine.
Urine?
No.
Urine no. So ni pork tu na manure. Okay. Na pork, I know pork is a bit expensive as compared to beef. Where do you usually take the meat to? Take
For
into
us,
the
we
process.
sell to Kabati, to the slaughterhouses in Kabati. Hatujauza mara mingi, but for the time yenye tumeuzia Kabati.
Kabati, yeah?
Yeah, kuna slaughter. Kuna slaughter. Yes.
Now, nguruwe kama Promise, how heavy is she? Akona kgs ngapi?
Sahi. Sahi anafaa kuwa ana weigh over above 60 kg.
Above 60 kg?
Yes.
Kumaanisha nyama yake hapo wenye inaweza kulwa, the one that can be translated to pork, how much is it? What is the quantity? Is it the same 60 kgs?
No. We take the 70%.
70%.
70%, 100% ni life weight. The 70% is the meat minus the waste. The waste is 30%. Now when you get the kgs, the life weight, you take the 70%.
70% of it.
It will be equivalent to the dead weight.
The dead weight.
That's the pork itself, minus the waste.
The pork itself minus the waste. So roughly, if I'm not wrong, it could be around somewhere 50 there.
Yes.
54% actually.
Plus one. Minus 1 plus 1.
Minus 1, 54 kgs. How much is 1 kg of pork?
Recently, I think it's about like 480.
About Ombewe Kwenyu, how much do you buy pork per kg? Talk about where farmers can now get you on social media, or if they want to come here and buy nguruwe hapa. By the way, how much is she? She's so big. What? How much is she? Yeah.
For now, no. Okay, you cannot take her to the market as no. She recently gave birth.
Oh.
But like I've said, the finishing one.
The finishing one. Mwenye amemaliza kujifungua.
We have the porkers and the baconers. Those are two things. Mwenye sasa umebreed kupeleka kwa soko. I think when you get the life weight, then utapata kg, then you multiply the current price. Yes.
Nanyi mnauzanga aje kwa slaughterhouse?
That's a secret. That's a secret.
That's a secret. Wow. Okay. So sitasema mengi kuhusu, but as we conclude, do you have any advice to mkulima ambaye anataka kufanya pig farming?
Yeah, what I can say is, if now you want to do a pig farming, for one, draw a budget. Before doing anything, you draw your budget. Secondly, you go for the right breed. You choose the breed also, and then you can start with as little, if maybe your budget is not haitoshei vizuri, you can start with one, ukipanda panda, but budget kwanza. That budget includes what? Feed, ya moja per year, then the structure before you now bring in the pigs.
Asante sana Sylvester, thank you so much for your time. Next week tutaonana with another farmer with another maybe animal or plant. Sindio? Ama mnataka gani? Hebu tuambie hapo. See you next time.
All right, that is all that we got to see from the youth. And Marion, you were there.
Yes, I was.
So just explain to us what you got to learn.
First of all, I'm so grateful to you for allowing us to go into your farm and having such an amazing conversation with you. And by the way, this is just not what we do here on TV. These episodes are right on YouTube at KTN Home. That is our YouTube channel. Please go on the playlist, Farm Kenya playlist on KTN Home YouTube channel. Na kama hauja subscribe, this is the time. Subscribe so that you can never miss anything new we upload on Farm Kenya and Youth in Agriculture. But I want to thank the farmers who are always resilient. That is what I saw on my visit today. And they're doing so much when it comes to even the agricultural value chain, and keep it up. But for now, we are going again for a short commercial break. We will be right back.
Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja. Kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya. Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa mkulima, kuwa mshindi. Kuwa na uhakika sasa, kuulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja. Kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
Right, welcome back into our favorite segment where we get to speak to various players in the agriculture sector. And of course, joining us is Mercy Munene, who is a rabbit farmer and also the founder of Shamba Connect. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you so much.
All right. So let's get right into the conversation and speak about rabbit farming. When we talk about rabbit farming, the first thing that someone needs to think about, what would you say is it?
I would think about the benefits of rabbit farming, starting with the meat. The meat is very healthy. First of all, it's white meat. It's hard to find clean white meat because even the chicken nowadays have lots of medication that really affect the quality of the meat. So we're looking at rabbits as white meat, low cholesterol, high in vitamin D, which is very much recommended by doctors for people who are invalids. Yeah. Okay.
And now, when we start to look at rabbit farming as a way of bringing in income, as a way of a business, what are the nitty-gritties, the how-tos when it comes to rabbit farming, just rearing them in order for them to bring income?
We have to think about the housing structure because if you see, we are normally, I mean, many people are based in the urban areas. So we are looking at a place where you don't have so much space. And so we are looking at having a space that you'll be able to maximize on production. So first of all, we stack the houses so that you have maximum production. They do not make noise, they are not smelly. So it's actually a perfect animal to have in the urban areas.
And also, even in apartments,
yes.
Don't you think rabbits need some little bit of space? Because, as you've said, we can stack where they live, of course, and the management of even how the structure needs to look like. When it comes to the structure, are there regulations that that someone needs to follow in the structure? And also, if it's space, how much space does a rabbit need?
An adult rabbit would very well use 2.5 by 2, like the length of 2.5 feet.
So what do we mean by that?
2 heights. Because a rabbit normally requires to be able to stretch itself across the house. I'm talking about an adult rabbit. Okay. But otherwise like you can actually keep, like this one. You can actually keep 3 rabbits in the same space. Yes. So an average house would be 2.5 by 2 by 2. 2.5 length, 2.5 width, and 2 heights. Yes.
All right. So what does that look like? Because someone might be seated at home saying, okay, so I want to rear rabbits. Of course, I live in an apartment where there's not enough space, but I would like to just put them in my balcony. So the 2.5 that you're talking about, what if it's smaller than that? How does that pan out?
The good thing with us at Shamba Connect, we actually design a house for you based on the size of your space. So we are able to get for you a house that is just enough for your rabbits. And you actually get the breeders from the start to the end. We are there to support you all the way, even to the market. Yeah.
All right, so let's look at the management of the structure. The cleaning, even the way you spoke about earlier, saying clean white meat. when it comes to management of the structure where they live and how they need to be just maintained, what goes into this?
One of the things we always encourage rabbit farmers to do is to ensure that the house is clean. The biggest problems that we'd have with rabbit farms is where the house is not clean. And this leads to gut diseases, it leads to respiratory diseases. And therefore, what we do even as we construct their cages is we ensure that it is self-cleaning. So you have minimum work to do, but also the place remains clean. That means you're able to actually collect the urine and the manure and keep the place very clean for them to be able to habit comfortably.
Okay.
Yes.
And even as you collect the manure and also the droppings
urine,
and the urine, what are the benefits of? I believe they have benefits, especially the urine.
Yes.
Just explain to us about especially the importance of the urine.
The urine is very important in organic farming because it is a fertilizer as well as a pesticide. So we use the rabbit urine, we dilute it, and then we spray on the plants as a pesticide. So it wards off aphids, cutworms, all those manner of pests that normally come to the vegetables. And also it acts as a fertilizer, perfect for top dressing and for fruit trees, for coffee. It's actually a very rich source of nitrogen.
Okay.
Yes.
And let's look at the seasons that we have. Of course, the rains that we've been experiencing a couple of, last month and also a couple of weeks that we've experienced rains. How is the climate affecting these particular rabbits? Because at the end of the day, we usually have hot season and also we have the rainy season and also cold. So how does a farmer manage the rabbits during all the seasons?
Housing is the main thing when it comes to rabbit farming. If you have good housing, that means they are protected from the elements. Like they're not exposed to the wind, to the rains, to the, to the heat of the sun. Because again, if they are too much exposed to the elements of the weather, then they get into diseases. Yes.
And can you say the structure can be made using wood and iron sheets, or what are the materials that a farmer needs to use?
You can use whatever materials you have available. You can use timber, you can use metal, you can use even recycled materials like recycled plastics to make the houses. Yeah.
And where they usually sleep and where they step on, can you like say maybe you just create a soft place where maybe like grass? Because at the end of the day, I'm imagining a season where there's a lot of wind, there's a lot of rain, just going left, right, and even from all the other sides and getting into the house. So how do you make sure that this particular rabbit is warm during the cold season, and also when it's hot, it's also able to get the air that it needs?
The floor of the rabbit house is normally has spaces where the urine and the manure pass through. That allows the space. There's a lot of air circulation around there. So during the hot season, you will not have an issue. During the cold season, around the housing itself, you are already having a structure that surrounds the whole house. So you are safe from any predators or any elements of the weather.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let's look at another different thing. So in Kenya right now, of course, we have various different rabbit farmers. There are others who just keep rabbits for leisure. They say, okay, I want to keep rabbits as pets. There are others who keep them for commercial reasons, and there are others who just, of course, they rear rabbits in order for them to maybe use their meat in order to gain income. So at the end of the day, how a farmer treats the rabbit really matters. And going forward, even as Kenyans and the country, what are some of the policies that you think, from where you sit, can be put in place in order for rabbit farming to be given the importance that it needs? Because as you've mentioned, the urine is really, really important when it comes to organic farming.
I think we all need to understand what goes into the chemicals that get into our food. And I think the moment we all get to understand the dangers of these chemicals and the fertilizers and the pesticides that normally get onto our plate through the, through the spraying of the plants, we start understanding why do we need to start doing organic farming. And one of the cheapest ways to get inputs for organic farming would be the rabbit urine and the rabbit manure.
Okay.
Yeah, so if we do more awareness on this, it would be helpful for farmers, but also everyone who's living in the urban spaces. Because the good thing with rabbits is that you keep them in a very small space. You don't need tracts and tracts of land.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even now, as you speak about keeping rabbits in an urban area, and of course, earlier we had talked about keeping them in the house or in the balcony or in a small space. So how much would it cost to keep a rabbit in just a small area, maybe in an apartment at the balcony, when you look at, when you just put it in line with maybe now rearing it in a larger area where they can run, it's a big field. So when you look at the two of them, how much would it cost to keep it in a house?
When it comes to the costing, I would say around 20,000 would give you 4 beautiful cages. That means 4 good spaces for the rabbits to live in, to play around, and to do all that is required for them to do. Outside there, the danger of allowing them to just move around is that they will start meeting one another, from brother to sister, father to daughter. That is what you're trying to avoid.
Okay.
Yes.
And how do you know? I'm very interested. So how do you know that these are the parents and they're not going to mate with the brother? Because the way you've mentioned, they can mate between the father, the daughter, and all. Like they don't have a particular way of knowing. So how do you know as the owner? Because at the end of the day, not everyone is privy to taking care of rabbits inside a confined space. Some people just say, okay, I'll just put them in the field. They're animals, they need to run. So how do you know?
We normally keep records. We keep records of who is the father, who is the mother, and who are the children. So in that case, once we keep the records, we know that the sons cannot serve the mother. The father cannot serve the daughters. They can be served by a different set of rabbits, but not amongst themselves. And also the brothers and the sisters cannot serve each other. Yeah.
Okay. And at one point, is there a point where the parents, the way you've said, they live in the same area with the children? Or as you keep the records, you say, okay, these are the children, now we are going to keep them in a different area?
So we keep them in a caged system whereby we have the father here, we have the mother here, and we have the children in a different place. So we know that they don't, like the mother and the father will not leave their cages ever. It's only the mother who will leave the cage to go and be served, and then she's brought back to the house. So that ensures that you will not have the case of brothers and sisters, fathers and daughters, mothers and sons. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. Very well explained. When you look at the diseases that usually come, especially when you are taking care of animals at the end of the day, because you can't, the diseases usually come.
Yeah,
so how do you manage? How do you manage that? And how do you make sure that a rabbit is well taken care of so that it is prevented from these diseases?
As I mentioned before, most of the diseases that would come to rabbits is because of the hygienic conditions. And some of the most common diseases for rabbits would be like coccidiosis. And this comes from if the area is dirty. So it comes from the poop to the mouth. And so that one builds up very slowly. You will not even notice. You'll just start seeing your flock is going down because they're dying one by one. So that is one of the diseases. And that, of course, comes because of the lack of cleanliness. Then secondly, there's the problem of the skin, which comes through mites. And the mites travel from one cage to another. So you have to ensure that the place is always disinfected so that the mice do not move from one place to another. Yeah, so that's how you manage the diseases and the pests. And then it's also very important to always have a vet come in to just have a look, give advice, consult with them.
Okay. All right. So still on the diseases, when a farmer is observing the rabbits, what should tell you that there's something wrong? Because the skin might be okay, the way you say the mouth might be okay, but there are certain behaviors that can show that the rabbit is not really okay. So what are the signs that a rabbit is really infected by something that is not being shown on the outside?
When you go to the house, if you gave it food, you gave her food in the morning, and you come in the evening and you find that the food has not been eaten, there's a problem. If you find that she's dull, the eyes are dull, there's no activity, when you show up, they're not happy to see you. They're either very happy or they're very sick. So that is one of the, in fact, when you do the work, it's very important for farmers to also learn to just go through your flock and see. And you'll start seeing certain behaviors. For example, when you walk in and you see that none of them are interested in you, start thinking there must be a problem here.
But they might not be interested in you because you didn't give them food. So
they could be hungry.
Yes.
And if they're hungry, in that case, they'll be jumping at you to get them food.
Okay.
But if you see them just, they have no interest, they are so dull, they are not interested in food. Sometimes you see even how they're walking, sometimes you'll find them limping. And that will tell you there's a problem.
Okay.
Sometimes it's an external problem, like sometimes they have what we call sawhawks because of the weight versus where they are standing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that. At least I've gotten to learn that you need to make sure that you observe them really, really closely. All right. So another issue, of course, technology. Technology is coming in, changing different ways in which things are done, and especially in the agriculture industry. So how is technology helping improve rabbit farming?
As it is, rabbit farming does not require so much of your time.
Yes.
And technology has made it even much easier because we have automated systems where you can actually feed them without having to be there in each cage at every time.
Okay.
So that is one of the ways that technology is helping. We're also having apps that are coming up to help us with the records because, again, keeping records is so important for farmers so that they're able to keep a healthy flock all the time. So we are having apps in the system. We are having, a linkage between the market and the farmers. That makes it so much easier as opposed to getting to a place where you have a flock of rabbits you want to sell, but you don't know where to sell, who to sell to, when to sell, how to sell. Yeah.
All right. And now, going forward, even as you look at rabbit rearing, going forward, what are some of the innovations that you think need to come in order for rabbit farming to become even more easier than what you've just explained?
I think when it comes to innovations, we need to think about the use of the skin. I've seen we're able to use most of the rabbit parts, but the skin remains a challenge currently because we do not have tanners that are able to tan rabbit skin. Rabbit skin is very tiny as compared to the cows and the goats because cows and goats normally have huge skin. So we need more tanneries that can be able to process the smaller skin. Yeah, like for rabbits.
All right. And even as we now come to a conclusion of this particular conversation, what is that one thing that you'll tell a rabbit farmer who has given up? He or she started rabbit farming and they've just said, okay, let me just leave this for a bit and then I'll come to do it later.
I would tell them that it's worth it. Sometimes, because we do not want to put our effort in something, expect that even the returns will be like that.
Yes.
Initially, when you're starting any kind of venture, you need to put in your energy, you need to put in the time, you need to really understand the process from the start to the end.
Okay.
It's important to also look for the markets before you just jump into it. So don't give up. I think like farmers, any farmer that is there, you know the process. We have to learn patience. We have to know that there are good seasons and there are seasons which are a little bit discouraging, but we don't give up. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Mercy, for joining us on this particular segment just to discuss about rabbit farming. Yes, and we have come to the end of this particular conversation. We were talking about rabbit farming, and I believe you've learned something today when it comes to how you need to take care of your rabbit and also the management when it comes to managing the area in which rabbits sleep. Right, we've come to the end of this particular edition, and today we were talking about rabbit farming. Marion,
Yeah.
I would just like you to tell us what you learned today about rabbit farming.
Actually, it's officially, I've baptized that rabbit to be called Marion. So she is Marion the rabbit. Whether or not she's female or male, Marion can be a gender name that can, you know, cut across the male and the female gender. But for now, we are coming to the end of this show, and I hope you two have learned a lot. Please tell us your favorite part of the conversation. Where exactly would you like us to, you know, kutia bidii zaidi? What exactly do you want us to do more? And we will definitely be hearing you again, Kelvin.
Right, of course, I believe we've come to the end, and join us and continue tweeting and making sure that at least we are involved in that conversation. Tell us the topics that you'd want us to cover. And of course, we've come to the end. My name is Kelvin Nyakundi.
And my name is Marion Munyao, and right now we're just about to go and have rabbit.
Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa mkulima kuwa mshindi. Kuwa